When I'm posting my lettering photos on Instagram, the one thing that I want to do is to capture the person's attention. And the way I can do that is by making sure I edit my lettering photos well. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I edit my photos using the Snapseed app and make it go from this to this. Hi, I'm Gadis of Made by Mutiara and welcome to my channel. I do mostly lettering on Instagram and I want to share with you some of the tips that I use that have helped my Instagram account grow. And one of the things that has definitely helped me is learning how to edit my photos to engage the person's attention. And the app that I like to use and many others like to use is Snapseed. So if you've not heard of that or if you've not tried Snapseed before, I hope this tutorial helps you see all the different things you can do using that photo editing app. And first thing you do, of course, is to open the app and then tap anywhere to open the photo. So from there, you select the photo that you want to edit. So this is the photo I'm going to be editing. After you've chosen the photo, the first thing you want to do is to crop the photo and adjust any perspectives or rotate it if you need it. So how to do this? First, you go to Tools, and then select to crop at the second row over here, and automatically they'll usually choose the settings from your previous edit. So here I have it already defaulted to square, but if you want to upload it to the 4:3 ratio, you just need to scroll to the right and then you see the 4:3 ratio option available there. But I'm gonna go back to square, and then what I'll do is to try to maximize the lettering piece to fill up as much of the square as I can. So what I'll do is to drag the corners in, and once I'm happy with it, I just press done. Another thing you can do is to adjust the perspective. So again, you go to Tools and then you see Rotate, Perspective, Expand on the same line as the crop. So I'm just going to choose perspective. So if I happen not to be able to get the correct angle for my photo, I can just use the arrows to go up and down to adjust whether or not I want to change the perspective of the photo. So I'm just gonna do it slightly. And the good thing about this is that Snapseed app will help you to fill up the gaps that is being caused if you change the photo around. Another thing you can do is that you can actually see the changes made before and after, and you do that by pressing the top right hand corner. You see there's like a window and a line that comes down the middle. So I'm just gonna tap that, and you'll see it'll be before, after, before, after. And of course, if you're not happy with the adjustments, you want it to be the same as before, then you just need to exit from the page with the X at the bottom left. Another thing you can do is to press the wand over here, and this actually automatically straightens your photo, but sometimes it doesn't work. So I'm just gonna try it and see how it goes. There you go. So clearly it's not going to do it right all the time, but you can definitely just play around and see if it does the job for you. I'm pretty okay with how this looks for now. So now what I want to do is to adjust the brightness, the shadows, and all of those settings to brighten up the photo as much as I can. So I'll go to Tools and then press Tune Image. So that's the one that I'm going to be choosing. And from here, you just have to use your finger to slide left or right to adjust the brightness. If you want to go to the next thing to edit, you just need to scroll downwards. So this part at first did confuse me, but eventually you'll realize that they try to make everything hidden. I mean, if you didn't know to scroll down, then you definitely wouldn't know where to change the settings. So all you have to do is to just put your finger on the screen and then just go down the list and stop at the one that you want to edit. And if you're just starting, the best way to know what setting is best for your photo based on your own lighting situation is to experiment and try out. One thing I do is to just go to the extremes left and right to see how much of the particular brightness I want to increase or decrease. So I'll just go through this part very quickly, but I will put up the numbers of the finalized setting at the end of my editing process. So here is the list of all the settings that I've decided for my photo itself. It really depends on each photo, but I try to increase the highlight, brightness and contrast as much as I can because I want the white parts of the paper to be as white as possible, if that makes sense. Ambience, I'm not sure what it does, but I think it changes the focus of which color becomes brighter. I need to look it up. And last but not least, something that you can do to see what the adjustments look like before and after you edit is to press the window at the top right, and then I'm just going to see what it looks like before and after. Before, after. So you can see I did add a bit of warmth to it because I do like to see the wooden background to be a bit more brown. So that's just my own personal preference. And once you're happy with the edit, you just need to press the tick. After I'm done with the tuning, I'm gonna also edit the sharpness and the details of my lettering piece. So what I do is to go to Tools, and then I press Details, and from there you have only 2 settings to choose from. So I'm just going to put my finger on the screen and then go up and down. You'll see I only have Structure and Sharpening. I don't know what's the difference, but I think Structure just brings out the details a bit more and the Sharpening sharpens it. I'm not sure, but I like to just increase a bit just to see what it looks like. So if I go to the extreme, you'll see it looks very grainy. It brings out the texture of the paper a lot, but this is a bit too much. So I'm just gonna bring it up a tad, and then sharpening, I'm just gonna go and increase maybe a bit. I don't know, it might not make a difference, but I'm always used to these kinds of settings, so I'm just gonna put it in. Another thing you can do, if you go to Tools, if you want to do some like automatic changes, let's say you don't have enough time to increase the brightness and all that, you can go to Curves. So this is the third button over here, and if you press the, what is it called? The button that is beside the eye at the very bottom row here, you'll see options of what kind of settings you can adjust to your lettering piece. So something that I sometimes use is to choose, so this is the original one, is to choose soft contrast. So you see how it has that small change that I might like or I might not like. And then hard contrast is just increasing that a bit more. So these are the 2 options that you want to consider maybe if you don't want to do the edits on the manual side. You can also brighten if you want, but that's a bit too much. You can explore the filters. So yeah, if this is something that you want to do, then just know that you can do it inside this, what is this called? Inside the curves. Okay, so just looking through this menu here, what I want to show you, the next 2 features is Selective and Brush. This is really good if you're working with mainly black and white pieces, so that you can get the very crisp difference with the black and white parts of your lettering piece. So if I click on Selective, what you do is to tap on the parts of the paper that you want to brighten up. So for example, maybe I want to brighten up the bottom left here. So you see there's a B. So what you can do is to, again, like what we did for the tuning part, is to scroll down with your finger, and you see you have a variety of options that you can use to change for that particular selective corner. I'm just going to show you with brightness. You can go all the way up and you'll see that the corner, the brightness in that corner, just that corner will be brightened up. And what you can do is to actually adjust the radius of how big that selection is just by doing the pinch in and out. So if I'm going to show you, you'll see the red color. That is how big of a selection you have chosen so far. So you can pinch out to increase the area, and you can pinch in to decrease the area. So let's say I just want a very small bit. Okay, I don't know why it's on contrast. Oh, okay, C is for center size. Sorry, not contrast. Very confusing. But you can adjust. So maybe I just want a very small center size over here, and yeah, you can just adjust the brightness, contrast, saturation, and structure from there. What if you have more than one parts that you want to brighten? Let's say I want to brighten the 4 corners of the paper. You can also then add on by pressing the plus at the bottom here, and then plus to, let's say, the 2nd corner, and then adjust from there. If you're happy with that, of course you can press done, but since I prefer the photo originally without the selection brightness being selected, so I'm just gonna press X. But I just want to share with you, this is something that you can do inside Snapseed. The next thing that you can do with Snapseed is to use the brush option, which is beside the selective. And then you can actually use this to enhance any colors that you find that your camera wasn't able to capture. So for example, I want to maybe increase the saturation of the flowers. Maybe I can just choose saturation and then use your finger to select the areas. But you can see that I have no idea what I'm increasing in saturation. So what you can do is to press the I button at the bottom and it'll show you the parts that you have covered using the finger from earlier. So I can just continue in this mode. I think this is easier, like you want to see which parts you are making into a more saturation. You can just select if you want. Like maybe this is what I want to do. And from there, you can actually already change the setting of saturation with the up and down arrows at the bottom. So let's say I want to decrease the saturation. Oh wow, it's very increased. But you can see if I increase the saturation, oh, I can only increase by 10. Interesting. Okay, so I learned something new. If you go down one more time the arrow, you'll actually select the eraser. So that means that, let's say this part, you change your mind, you don't want it to be saturated, you can erase. That's cool. So I learned something new. So let's say I don't want the words to be saturated, I just want the flowers. Yeah, that's something that you can do. Cool. Alright, so another thing you can do also is decrease the saturation for those parts by pressing the down arrow even more. So you can change it by -5, -10, and then yeah, if you're happy with it, you can move the eye away. You can again select before, after. So you see before the saturation increase, after the saturation increase. Other things you can do also is to change the temperature. So you're making it either more yellow or more blue. Exposure, I think that is making it brighter. I haven't explored that yet, but you can try yourself. And dodge and burn, I'm not sure what it does, so I'm just going to let you try yourself also. And the last thing you can do that I have used before, but I don't really need it in this case, is to use the healing tool. What the healing tool does is, let's say you happen to have like a paint splatter that is not supposed to be there. You can just zoom in all the way and then let's say choose that spot. Let me see if I can find a spot. Okay, you see how this corner of the Y, I have this dot pointing out. So I'm gonna just use my finger to brush over that part. Ooh, okay, it didn't heal properly. I'm gonna undo it. I'm gonna zoom in even more. Oops, that's the max. Okay, that's an example of what you can do with the healing brush. If you have any parts that you're not happy with, I don't think it does the best job in healing, like patching up, but it works. Like if you zoom out all the way, yeah, you can't tell that it's healed, right? But yeah, that is also one of the things that you can use if you want to edit your lettering photos. All of the other features are just like extra filters, like maybe you want to take a selfie, you can choose portrait mode and all of that. I don't really use any of them, but I do use text if I want to add in my watermark. Made by Mutiara. If you don't have an engraved watermark like the one I have here, and then you just choose the palette icon and then it'll choose the color, and then yeah, maybe just put it at the bottom. Then you can choose all the different fonts, anything that tickles your fancy. I like the first one. I think the first one is like nice and simple. And then you can adjust the opacity of the text. Let's say this is too harsh, then maybe you want to make it gray, then this is what you can do. Press the middle button that looks like a droplet and has the words invert, and then just slide the scroller to change the opacity from there. Okay, I think I'm more or less happy with this photo over here, so I am going to export it. And you can either share, save, export as. This is on my Android phone, so I don't know if they look the same for Apple phones out there, but what I'm gonna do is to save the photo. So this is what the original photo looks like, and after I do the editing, this is what it looks like, all ready to be uploaded to Instagram. So that's how I edit my photos using Snapseed. If you use any other photo editing apps out there, then let me know what they are down in the comments below, because maybe one day Snapseed becomes a paid version and then I cannot use some of the features. So it's definitely good to keep my options open and know what other good apps there are out there. What I also like to use is the Instagram app itself to edit the photos before I upload it, and I do have a video on that if you're interested to know how, and you can just click up the button here to check out that video. In every video, I do a shout out as a thank you to one of you, so the shout out of today's video goes to Shannon! Thank you so much for leaving a comment in my last video where I showed about how I batch created, and this video will definitely complement that video in terms of batch editing photos. So if you want to watch that video, you can check out over here, and I'll put the link to that down in the description as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up, and of course, subscribe to this channel so that you can get more videos like this in the future. Thank you to the 1.5k of you who already subscribed. I really appreciate all of your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!